Hey everybody, I'm Halina. I'm going to be talking to you about maximising YouTube today. Am I in control of starting it with this? Yes, there we go. Wow, I looked a bit sexier on my computer. I've got colour on mine, I must have seen an old version. Hopefully this will record with what I actually prepared. So I am a music and entertainment lawyer for a leading law firm in London called Clintons. I have worked with YouTube channels for the last 6 years. I started at AEI, who looks after UKF, all-track music, Majestic, Casual, a load of compilation YouTube channels, and then I went to Boiler Room, and now I'm obviously at Clintons, but have several YouTube clients with me. So, the first thing I think you have to decide when you, let me go to my slide. So, this is the first debate when you think about YouTube in my mind. When YouTube launched in 2007, they said to everybody, the world is full of creators. The creators of the world haven't had the means to create because they didn't yet have YouTube. Here we give you open source, the tools to create what you please. Go and do it. You know, the world's your oyster. And that was great. So, you know, everyone can be a creator. This is good. However, of course, not everybody is in fact a creator. A lot of people were compilers instead. And what you find generally is that there's two forms of channels. There's the curated channels where people put up other people's creations and compile, and these are people generally who have maybe good ears, or they have a good oversight of a particular industry, and they put a lot of other people's content on, linked to it, and they become a hub for a particular interest. Then the other side is the creators of this world, and you probably recognise some of those names. These are the sort of personalities of YouTube. Speaker notes on here. The next thing to say is that the world of YouTube, in terms of celebrityism, is a very different world. The anatomy of talent in YouTube is different to the anatomy of talent in old media. So in new media, I heard recently somebody say that they are your friends, and in old media, they are celebrities. And I thought that's quite interesting, and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit more, because I feel that in being a creator channel, you are you've got a personality, you have an honesty to you, you have to maintain these things. You put out a lot of content, it's lo-fi, it's accessible, and if you compare that to a classic celebrity, you're talking somebody who puts out a small amount of highly polished content irregularly, and there's a lot of fuss about it. It's, you know, it's just a very different way of making content, and you know, it's created in a way that it's maximum impact, one piece, irregularly, whereas in the case of you know, vloggers or social celebrities, they're just chucking stuff out the whole time. If it doesn't work, they don't do it again. If it works, they do it again. And the interactivity is incredibly important. If you are serious about setting up a YouTube channel, you are going to have to read those comments as much as you don't like them. You're going to have to read them, you're going to have to respond to them, and you're going to have to create content that is aligned with the interests of the audience and what they've told you in those comments. So get used to that idea. I'm sure it's going to be a difficult thing to take at times. Just to give you an idea of scale, new media versus old media, Zuella, who's one of the, in fact this girl here on the left who I'm quite fascinated with on stats, she, in the UK she has 1.5 million active subscribers, and she basically puts makeup on and talks about dresses and stuff. That compared with the UK Glossies. I saw her manager speak recently at a conference, and he said that she had more UK subscribers than Glamour circulated in the UK. Glamour is a glossy magazine in the UK, far more. And I wasn't sure if that was, you know, I wanted to quite get a kind of handle on the scale of that, and I looked into it, and my figures are slightly old because they're 2013 figures. But I actually found out that not only does she far exceed the circulation of Glamour, but if you combine the circulation of Glamour, Cosmopolitan, Marie Claire, Hello and Vogue all together in the UK, she still has 300,000 subscribers in the UK in excess of that entire nation. So, you know, the figures that you're dealing with here are enormous, and there is so much access, but they're obviously a different sort of audience. You have to talk to them in a different way. I've obviously run out of animation steam at this point. Okay, slightly obvious point, perhaps promote your content, but actually it's very important for people on YouTube to have not just one channel, but several channels, because it's going to be impossible with the sort of level of interactivity as you grow that you require to keep those audience members to be on just one platform. So you can't put up 10 videos a day, there's simply not enough time, even if it's lo-fi and you're not really editing it much. So, the messages of the vloggers is that actually Twitter and Instagram are really, really important platforms for them to drive, to maintain their audience, keep them loved, keep them interactive, but without it being quite so time sensitive, time swamping, I suppose. Lost my speaking notes, sorry about this, guys. Also, I just wanted to give you a quick idea of some of the scale of these audiences, because the power of these guys is obviously influence. They can migrate audiences very quickly. Alfie Dade, for example, if I tweet, I might get 2 likes if I'm lucky. If Madonna tweets, she probably will get hundreds of likes. If Alfie tweets, he gets about 50,000 on average, which is just vast. It's absolutely incredible. And he's a YouTuber, right? Zuella, also mentioned before, went on the comic relief version of Great British Bake Off last year. And when she went on it, her followers in fact followed her onto the show. They went from new media to old media. She had an uplift of 600,000 followers on that particular show. But that represented 10% of the entire of the show's watchers ever. And it also represented their largest ever audience of 16 to 34-year-olds who had ever watched Great British Bake Off. So, and also when she left, interestingly, they also left, which is telling. Next slide. I've got too many things in my hand. So, when you're launching a channel, assuming you're a creator, you want to set up tomorrow, you've got great content, excellent, you obviously don't have any followers, and you're not going to get followers just overnight unless you're already a celebrity or somebody gives you a really helpful little push, perhaps. So in the first instance, you probably have to view your YouTube channel as a marketing platform, and I think that's quite important, because I think if you view it as a marketing platform and you're trying to gain followers, and that's that's your sole aim, then you're going to create different content than if you're immediately trying to upsell and send people off platform. Bear in mind that music is discovered on YouTube quite a lot. Sorry, I've kind of gone to a different slide there. So what do you want? Do you want people to discover your music as a primary marketing function, or do you want them to spend money on your music elsewhere? Because they can, of course, listen probably to the music if you're talking about music on Spotify, but you might want to grow your audience and then redirect to Spotify later. It's not ultimately up to you immediately whether you monetize or not, because you have to have a certain base of users to be offered a partnership by YouTube. At the moment, that's 1,000 active monthly subscribers, which obviously is probably going to mean you're going to need I would estimate about 10,000 subscribers before you're actually getting that number of monthlies. There is another option, and that is to work with MCNs. MCNs obviously have mixed reports from people. MCNs are basically people that allow you to tag onto their membership and allow you to monetize from the outset. But whereas MCNs are known traditionally for trying to grab as many channels as possible to work with, because they wanted to mass market appeal. Increasingly now they're kind of looking for those key talents, and they see the value of the talent. Although there are some new MCNs, and I think you'll probably hear more about that during the course of the couple of days. Next, upselling. So if it's just a marketing platform, what's the point? How are you going to make some money out of these people? How are you going to sell music to them? And the reason why this is so problematic, as Chris actually said earlier, is that the journey with YouTube often starts and ends with YouTube. You used to listen to music on the radio, and then you go and buy a record. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your business model, now people don't go to the next platform necessarily, they just stay on YouTube. So you have to be smart about selling to those audiences. The reaction of YouTube to this complaint from major labels, for example, was to formulate Red, YouTube Red, which is now launched in the US. Jury's out as to whether it's working or not, but it's basically a $9.99 US monthly subscription for ad-free content and access, and it's coming to the UK soon, so I'm interested to see how that will work out. And they've also launched cards, which is basically to replace annotations, which is basically stuff that you put over your video to send the people watching the video to other places so that you can capture emails or crowdfund or give them more information or whatever and create a off YouTube direct connect. And they're tidier than annotations, I would say. They're just a little bit more discreet. They kind of don't swap the video. They kind of disappear after a little while, but are clickable. And can you send people from online to offline products? Absolutely you can. When I worked for UKF, we launched in 2010 the first compilation, and it subsequently got a gold disc. But it was a nail-biting experience going through that. Can we migrate an audience who only listen casually on YouTube to go at the time to the iTunes store? Because obviously in 2010 it was Spotify early days really. And we did very successfully, and also so have many other people. I mean, I'm told that Gleam, which is a management company for vloggers, have sold over the Christmas period 1.5 million stocking filler books from their YouTube celebrities. So these people have a personality, people connect with them, they're their friends, and then they play that out in other ways offline. Another one that I thought was quite interesting, I'm trying to remember his name now, Tyler. Anyway, he's a YouTube vlogger who talks very honestly and very frankly about his life, and he ran an event series, a very successful event series, where it was basically his slumber party, and you came to an event in a onesie, he was on stage kind of talking to you, and everyone was just kind of having a good time. And it was like basically it's taking whatever you've created online and replicating that offline in honest products that reflect the person. I've got so much more I'd love to tell you about, but I think I'm out of time. How am I doing? 1 minute. I also would like to say to you all I was told not to put videos into this despite it being on YouTube because of the Wi-Fi complication, which it sounds like you solved, so well done you. But if you are interested in looking into the upselling and offline products, I advise you go to KSI's channel and watch his last video upload, which is basically a video explaining to his audience why he's not been vlogging as much as he used to. And it basically is him talking about how he's got a record deal with Island Records, and he's now launching a chat show, and he's also created a computer game, and and it's mind-boggling what these kids can achieve because they are very savvy and their audiences do follow them, and it's I think it's very exciting what we can do with YouTube. So, that's me. Does anybody have any questions?
Anyone got a question last in less than a minute? Go on, Steve, really quick question.
The difference between video content, audio, packshot content, you may have got different perspectives on this. Do you think video is worth more, or are people actually just listening to YouTube rather than watching it, and the packshot stuff can be worth as much?
Video stats are really good at the moment and on the up, and it seems to be what everybody's talking about. Also, video is really important for Facebook because Facebook weights, slightly off topic, but Facebook weights video really well at the moment, so you'll get 3 or 4 times the reach that you get on a photo on a video on Facebook. So create the video, put it on Facebook. You should be cross-promoting all this stuff, keep promoting. I think it is important, but what I find is a lot of our artists I work with will start doing a small video, and then if it starts to go as a track, they'll upgrade to a second video later on. It's just a budget thing.
Fantastic. Thank you, Halina, very much indeed.